right. All right. So, welcome back. Welcome back to season 2 of Black Woman Transform, y'all. Can you believe it's season 2? For those of you that are coming back, welcome back. For those of you that are here for the very first time, I am so happy that you're here, and I know you're going to be here to stay, okay? Black Woman Transform is the podcast for Black, dynamic, powerhouse women on their journeys of growth, the safe space for women to see themselves, be themselves, and free themselves. And season 1 was exceptional. God just really took full control. So many women said that they felt seen, they felt heard, they felt like they were a part of the experience. And that's what I'm all about, is making sure that I create spaces for women to let their hair down, or in my case, let their waves down, and really just grow into the dynamic women that we have been called to be by God. And I really have some exciting news. I have been waiting to share this for such a long time. And because Black Woman Transform is a space created for us, by us, what better way to share that with the world than by actually inviting another Black woman, one of my sisters, to collaborate with me moving forward. We got a special co-host, y'all, somebody that I love, someone that I admire, someone who has really embodied the Black Woman Transform statement in every sense of the phrase, in her business, in her spiritual walk, in her body, the body banging, okay, y'all? And you all get to experience her this year. So Jennifer Hill is sitting beside me. Yes, y'all.
Hi, guys.
I got reveals.
I love that intro. Thank you.
I got to.
I appreciate you. I'm just so happy to be here. Honestly, it just feels so synonymous. It's so aligned, because this transformation has really it's just excelled my growth in my journey. And I'm here for it. I'm all about supporting the community. So thank you, sis, for having me.
It is an honor to have you.
Thank you.
Definitely a pleasure. I mean, you know, the quote says that if you want to go far, you know, if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. And I'm just super grateful that we get to be on this journey together. We've been on this journey behind the scenes together. I started out as your life coach.
She did. She did.
I started as your life, and it's interesting because as soon as I sat down with her in her beautiful home, she invited me out to her beautiful home, her sanctuary, as she calls it.
My patio.
And even though I was her coach, I was like, we're going to be friends when we done.
We felt the energy. You could not deny it, right?
Yes, 100%.
Yeah,
and here we are, almost 3 years.
3 years.
Almost 3 years later. She's graduated Life Coach University, too.
Yay.
So she's a life coach. You tell them who you are. I'm not, listen.
I mean, I was just loving the accolades. So I was just sitting back like, come on.
Yes. Tell the people who you are.
Oh my goodness. So I will say this, I'm always behind the scenes. So talking about myself, putting myself out here has definitely been uncomfortable, but it's needed, because this is where God has called and planted me. So my name is Jennifer Hill. People call me Jen or Agenda. And I have a digital marketing agency, and I've had it for several years, helping entrepreneurs on the online space and show up. But I felt that there was a change in my life coming a couple of years ago, that God was calling me to go deeper. And because being ambitious, I'm thinking, oh, okay, I'm about to start another business. No problem, I got this. Mm-hmm. And it was not that. It was a fulfillment that I could not connect with. And this is how me and Lanasia met. And with her services of being my life coach, it just allowed me to explore and trust the process, and really, you helped me strengthen my walk. And I think it's so beautiful. This is why God creates community, because we need each other.
Absolutely.
So this I was just like, okay, I'm going to immerse myself in this journey. And this is where true fulfillment started to happen. Uncomfortable.
Yes, very much so. That's where the growth happens.
That's where the growth happens.
Absolutely.
We were just talking about this too, being, in the season that we're in now, and it's a lot of change.
Absolutely. A lot. And it's always beautiful. The change is beautiful. The growth is beautiful. And in that, I didn't introduce myself. I'm acting like, I always treat people like they family. It's kind of my thing, so let me
tell the people who you are.
Let me tell y'all who I am. But one of my things also is just to uplift and highlight and, just advocate and celebrate other women. So I'm always in a rush to do that. And God exalts me, so I never have to rush and do that for myself. But since I'm here, you should know who I am. I'm Lanasia Angelina. I am a life coach. I'm an author. I'm a speaker. I'm a lover of all people. I'm a girl's girl. I'm loud. I'm got this loud, raspy voice that I use, and people pay me to use it. And I just love life. Every day I wake up, I'm excited for the journey. I'm excited to have a new experience, to learn more about myself, which is really something that, bringing it back full circle to what you were talking about is like, that actually scares most people, but it excites me.
Yeah.
And, it's interesting because a huge part of my work is really helping people to really get out of this idea of, being afraid of the unknown. And I always ask, like, have you ever thought about being excited about it?
Oh, my goodness. That's a good question. But we never ask ourselves that.
100%.
Yeah.
You know all about the questions. That's what you...
Listen, my name, AKA, is Curious George.
Yes.
I'm always curious.
For real.
I am. But honestly, when you start to ask those honest questions of yourself, it makes you think different.
Absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
I think that is one important thing of growth, of being honest with yourself in that moment.
Absolutely. And that's part of the reason why Black Women Transform, the podcast, the movement, the private coaching community was even started is because of my own personal journey of being a Black woman who transforms. It's so funny. Like, you do so many things along your journey, and then you find something that just fits like a glove.
Oh.
And it's interesting because, being someone who coaches in executive spaces and universities, and, I was nervous to say Black women, just to be completely transparent. I don't think I've ever shared that with you.
Why couldn't you identify
I was
that?
nervous to say Black women because in my mind, I felt like I wanted to be inclusive of everybody. And I feel like that's something that a lot of people on the entrepreneurial journey as we're finding ourselves, because we're refining ourselves every step of the way.
All the time.
I think that's a lot of people's ideas. Like, I want to appease to everyone.
Right.
But the thing about it is, if you're speaking to everyone, you're actually speaking to no one.
That's a point. Well
No
taken.
one is listening. No one is paying attention because you don't have the ear of the specific audience. And I can remember earlier last year when God downloaded Black Woman Transform into my spirit, and I still didn't do it. That was around February, and I just wrote it down. I didn't make a move. I just continued to do the work that I was supposed to be doing. And, around August of last year, my coach was like, say Black women. And I was like, I hear what you're saying. It sounds good. But interestingly enough, like, I hadn't made the decision still in my heart, because in my mind, I still wanted to be accepted by everyone in the space. And I had this idea that if I was bold enough to speak to my sisters, that I would lose opportunities. But what actually happened was I gained more opportunities because people saw me showing up as my most authentic self. And I do want to say this before we get into our conversation. Well, we in our conversation.
This is how we do all the time.
Okay.
This is how we do.
But I would like to share some background about, the tagline of, see yourself, be yourself, for yourself, for those who don't know. Yeah. I talked about it on season 1, but, the reason the tagline was downloaded into me later in that year, before I recorded my first podcast in the closet in November.
By any means necessary.
Yes, I was so uncomfortable too. I had my leg folded. I was getting numb. I'm like, girl, you should have got comfortable first. I didn't expect to do a whole podcast like that. But, when Black Woman Transform was downloaded earlier, and then later that year, see yourself, be yourself, free yourself was shared with me in the spirit, it just was really a message to, my walk. About like, once I was able to see who I was, and it just, ties into the story I just told about being bold enough to operate in my truth. Once I was able to see who I was, it allowed me to fully embrace that, walk in that truth. And that freed me from really the boxes that I had put myself in, that society had put me in. All the time. And I want to kind of, understand, because a lot of women last season said, they felt like they could be free after listening to a conversation. They were healed, they were delivered, they were set free. I want to ask you, what is did you have an experience where you felt like, there were bounds and limitations put on you,
Oh,
and
my
what
goodness.
helped you to set yourself free?
All the time. I put so many limitations on myself. And one of the things I think I told you was saying, I was afraid to say, admitting how strong I am as a woman. After a while, I was like, I'm tired of saying I'm strong. I'm tired of being this because it was requiring so much of me. And I had to have a different perspective of that because this is where I invited God back in.
Absolutely.
And I'm like, okay, yeah, I am strong through his will, through his strength, through his power. So when I changed the narrative, that's when I allowed myself to then be free and to see what it is that he wanted me to go, because I couldn't do it alone by myself.
Yeah.
I was just taking on too much, and I was not feeling heard or seen. And then I started doubting myself. You just go down that rabbit hole.
100%.
And the minute you start going down that rabbit hole, it gets hard to get back out. So I had to be okay with saying I am strong, but through God.
Yeah.
And the more I did that and I started to lean into him, then there were some things he freed of me and the expectations I set.
Absolutely.
And then I walked into his expectation, which his burden, he wants us to give it all to him anyway, right?
100%.
So that was freeing for me in that moment. And then now it's just building that up
Yeah.
and growing me. And now I'm in a season, I was telling you, it's a challenging season now. But I welcome this because this is just making me get closer to him.
100%.
Typically, when you're going through challenges, it's not I think you said great, it's not purgatory.
No, it's not.
It's
we're
a
not
beautiful
we're not in
thing.
waiting.
Yeah. And it's a beautiful thing if you allow it to do what it needs to do.
100%.
But we're all trying to control it.
100%. And surrender was actually my word last year.
Was it?
So to hear that, I totally understand. And, like as I'm listening to you, I just keep hearing, the scripture, where the spirit of the Lord is, there is liberty.
All the time.
There is freedom. Like that is where you find yourself in him. The closer you get to him, the more that you're able to see yourself and the less worried you are about what it looks like to everybody else.
That is so true.
Because the thing about it is most people that have an opinion about you are the ones that don't have enough of a firm opinion about themselves, a firm truth about themselves. So it's a lot easier to criticize and judge and project and point the finger because they're not doing the work within themselves. And I had to come to that place, right? I wasn't just there. And I always like to share that with people. When they see us, women like you and I, they have this idea sometimes that we have it together or we've always had it together.
Right.
And
such a misconception.
100%.
Yeah.
And the thing about it is if I had it all together, I wouldn't need God.
I wouldn't be here. I'll be doing, what I'm saying, do what you want to do, right?
100%. And, yielding to his word, his promise, and just allowing myself to free fall into the faith experience of saying, you know what, God, you told me this is what I'm supposed to do. You told me this is where I'm supposed to be. You told me this is who I'm supposed to serve.
Yes.
So the provision is going to be on this path. If I walk this way, if you are Jireh like you say you are, then there is no doubt in my mind that I'm going to be provided for. And that's not just money. That is love, that is joy, that is peace, that is friendship.
Amen.
And I'm just super grateful. And I want every woman, every man, but especially my sisters. I'm talking to my sisters, y'all. I just want us all to have that experience of freedom in him.
I agree.
So,
I agree.
Yeah.
I really do. I can honestly say, too, I was loving when you were saying it's not always about money. I think we equate this journey of the tangible, whether it's the house, the cars, the gifts and stuff. But it's really it's that inward first, because God just wants the heart.
More than anything.
More than anything. And then once that starts to, declutter and he's in it and, you're allowing yourself to live out loud, then you're enjoying the fruits.
Absolutely.
And then you're cultivating the relationships. And that is so important for us women to experience because one of the questions, and maybe I may be getting ahead of myself.
No, please get ahead of yourself. Move us right along. I like this.
Oh, okay then. And then, so one of the questions I had was, are you really experiencing joy in your relationship? Not happiness,
Okay.
joy.
Yeah. And I really like that question, and I also like the clarity that you asked. Not happiness, because happiness is fleeting.
It's fleeting.
Right?
It comes and goes.
That's day by day. Some days I'm super happy, some days I'm not so happy.
And don't let me be hangry.
But the joy of the Lord is my strength, right? Don't let me be hangry.
Don't let me be hangry.
Okay. But yes, I love that question. And you asked if I am truly experiencing joy within my relationships. And I could say 100% yes.
I love that.
It has definitely been a journey, been a season of refinement in my own heart that has allowed me to show up better for my relationships, which allows me to get more on the, receiving end. When people are loved properly, the right people.
Yeah.
Because some people just can't. It just is what it is, and they just got to go on about their business.
Let them go on that yellow brick road.
But when you are loving the right people in the right way, you get tenfold return, 100-fold return.
You do.
And I can honestly say that there is no worry. The real, I feel like the real indication that you have true joy in your relationships is that, there's peace. And there's no worry, there's no anxiety, because, the separation, I think about Adam and Eve in the garden. I'm going to take out church real quick.
Come on now, bring it
I think
down.
about Adam and Eve in the garden.
Well.
But I do. I think about, their experience in Eden, and then, having their eyes open after, eating the forbidden fruit.
Right.
And what happened was they went into bondage.
Right.
Because they were out of, the spirit. They were out of the spirit. And in that bondage, they started to feel shame, and they were afraid, and they were hiding. And that's what happens when you are not close to God's spirit, when your heart is not with him, is you feel anxious, you feel worried,
depression comes
you
on.
feel depressed. And, I can honestly say that being whole within myself allows me to show up with a spirit of giving in my relationships, a spirit of love. And with that, it's just a fulfilling experience for everybody involved, because the people on the receiving end are often, not everybody, some relationships still have a ways to go. Familial, are typically the ones, because you choose your friends. I'm just keeping it real out here in these streets. You choose your friends.
Family. Okay,
but you don't choose your family. You don't choose your family, but you still have to love them.
You do.
And it really challenges you. Familial relationships challenge you the most.
It does.
Because I think that we have this idea that I've come to not be this way, but a lot of people have this idea that friends are disposable, and operating in that way, it's easy for them to not grow because they just move beyond the uncomfortable situation.
That no new friend slogan.
100%. And with family, you're like, well, I got to deal with my mama. So let me figure out how to have a fruitful conversation, even though it's hard for her, even though it's hard for me. What can I do to navigate this difficulty? And, not to get off track, but.
I love that.
Yeah.
And I love how you said fruitful conversation, because sometimes it's just going to be a conversation. Sometimes
Absolutely.
the relationships are not going to be that deep in. But that's okay.
100%.
This is truly what God means, loving thy enemy. It's not
Absolutely.
loving the easy people. That's easy. He really wants us, those who are difficult, who are trying,
Absolutely.
who need that. And so I love that when you do have joy within, it allows you to exude the patience and give that to people that are difficult in this season.
Yes. I can say family and business are the two things that stretch me the most, because they're the things that you want to work, right?
This is true. I would say business for sure, family, yes.
Yeah. And my friendships, I call my friends family. If you are my friend, you're my family.
I say it's my sister.
I don't have a lot of distant friends. My friends close. We close.
My core.
So Jen, we got some questions.
Come on, bring it.
I want the people to get to know us a little bit. So we got some questions. Just to heat up the season and allow y'all to get up in our business a little bit.
Just a little bit.
These are things I don't talk about on social media, okay? Some of them. So I'll start with question one, because I want to get to know you, Miss Jennifer Hill, okay?
Hola.
And the first one I want to know, because everybody wants to know, people looking at this, and I know the women are looking, and I know the men are looking, and people want to know. Are you single, married, dating? What's your relationship status?
I'm single. I am single. I am enjoying and learning to enjoy my singleness season.
Okay. What do you feel like you've learned most in your single season?
I really am dope.
Oh, I like that.
Like I can really date me if I wanted to. You know what I'm saying? Like I really like me.
Yes. It's a meme on social that's like, would you date you? And it's like, I'd be outside with a boombox in the rain.
Oh my! I would be roller skating 100%. And just chilling, eating bomb pop. Like, hey,
thanks. I love that.
Yeah, but yes, I am truly enjoying and just knowing the levels of gin.
I love it
because it's levels of gin.
100%. and the levels don't just go high; they reach. Real deep. So
they're deep. Yeah, they're real deep. Yeah, honestly. So it's just really knowing me first because I do want to be married again. So I learned a lot from my first marriage, divorce, and it showed me a lot.
Yeah.
And so in this preparation, I will say, and loving on me is really just focusing on who I am and what God is shaping me to be. So then when I do meet my guy, like we'll click. We're like peanut butter and jelly.
Period. Cereal milk.
All right. Chocolate and
vanilla. Peaches and cream.
We can go all listen, I'm getting hungry.
Listen, okay.
What about you? What you doing over here in these streets?
I don't be talking about my dating life out here in these streets.
But you have to.
I am very much so single.
Okay.
I'm single as a Pringle. Single as a dollar bill. What else is single?
This is why we don't ask her, because she will go on and
single as a Pringle. I am single and enjoying the heck out of it. It was a journey to get to enjoying my singleness after my breakup, after my last breakup. And man, much like you, I have recognized that I am rather dope.
See what I'm saying?
And cutting off this hair just elevated, like, it just, like, took it up.
Let's talk about that for a minute.
Honey.
Because if you see our pictures from a year ago.
I know.
I either had extensions, I had silk press.
Yes.
You had more hair.
Yes.
And then we have just made this 180 within, what is it, a couple of months now?
Yes, we have.
Of just being our whole natural. And here's the thing, there's nothing wrong with extensions, expressing yourself.
Absolutely.
Self-expression is beautiful. That's one of the things of joy being a woman.
100%. A black woman specifically, okay? 5 hairdos in a week. We can do this.
We can do this. But then coming just to who you are, and then it just shows, and it reflects in our crown, because our hair is our crown. You know, embodying just everything.
Yeah, I feel more confident than I ever have, and I talked about the journey a little bit. You know, just feeling. You know, hair has been such a big part of my life. As a black woman, hair is always a conversation.
It's always a conversation.
Like, I can remember in 7th grade, like, being so mad I couldn't get my ponytail right. Like, tears. Like, this is a travesty.
Don't let it be extensions.
Listen, okay? And to know now, you know, that without the hair, you know, without all the things that I am just beautiful. And that light is just shining from the inside out. And I feel so sure of myself in this season. And I desire to be married also. Have babies. We got to hurry up too, y'all, because I'm pushing the limit.
Oh my God.
You know, in my eyes, you know, it was people in the Bible that had kids at like 100, but I'm letting you know, God.
You're like, I'm about to
God,
back up.
Listen to me. I don't want to. So
oh my
we
goodness.
pushing it to the limit on the time frame to have some little Lanasias running around.
Oh my goodness.
So yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to it. I am in great expectation that will happen for me.
It's gonna happen.
So I'm looking forward to it. So
I love that.
Yeah, I'm single as a Pringle, and you know,
She's like, one more time for y'all that need to know.
She's just shy. She's just shy. Have it together.
So are you opening to dating now, or are you just still coasting in the singleness?
I am open to the right one because it's a lot of no's, these days.
Perfecting your no to honor your yes.
Yes. And being very intentional about both.
Yes, for sure.
I am definitely, I like companionship. I travel a lot alone, and I ain't gonna lie, I'm ready to vacation again. You know what I'm saying? I'm ready to get my vacation out.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Just I was wondering.
So you wanna shoot for?
So, if I had to ask you, your superpower, your cape, what is it? What power do you hold, babe?
I be trying to take it off, but my superpower is honestly, I don't know why I get so emotional every time I say this, but because I'm really a G. But when I get to expressing emotions, when I get vulnerable, y'all,
super sensitive.
I'm like, oh my gosh, hide me. That's something I'm still working on because I'm so.
She's like, my eyes are just glassy because I got so many.
Listen, it's a little,
lash.
a little lash. No, my superpower is definitely my love for people. Mm-hmm. It definitely is what fuels me more than anything else, I can say, because, my work has been very philanthropic for years, since I was 19 years old when I started volunteering at the Boys and Girls Club and, helping youth with my nonprofit and now, helping individuals through coaching. And, it's the people that keep me going because there are levels of success that I've experienced that didn't necessarily involve a lot of the people that I help, right? I could have taken that, run with it, and, moved on with my life. But I know that it's my job to, number one, share my testimony.
Amen.
So that other people can also be overcome. And, make sure that the people that look like me are not left behind. This journey, this growth, this healing, this deliverance, it's not for me. It's for everybody else that, God has allowed me, privileged me, given me the privilege of being in the presence of at any given moment. So definitely my heart for people.
I believe that. You wear it well, sis.
Thank you.
You really do. Like,
I'm a lover girl.
You are. You eat and you breathe. And you know what? I bet you do get this. Sometimes people may misconstrue and think that because you're so ambitious and you're strong, like, oh, she's mean.
People think listen, I done heard it all.
I done heard it all,
now,
too.
I'm going to let you know. I'm tough. And I will say things that a lot of people are not willing to say. I love with the accountability language. And that's what most people aren't used to. They think love is, oh my gosh, you look so beautiful today. Love is sometimes like, you know what, you looking kind of like what you've been through. Let's talk about it. Let's work on that a little bit so that we can, bring you to the level that you're supposed to be. I want to call you to your higher self. And some people, who just aren't ready, for my language may receive that as being me. And I used to want to be everybody's cup of tea. And I've recognized that I'm just not.
No, you're not for everyone. I'm not for everyone. You're not for everyone.
No, ma'am.
And it's okay. It's so many people in this world.
100%.
It's so okay.
Yeah. What's your superpower?
My superpower is bringing the light out of people. I am that encourager. I am that person that will see your greatness before you do.
I love that.
I am the one that I will sit in the corner with you. We'll be talking about it, and I'll be listening, but I'm listening different.
Yeah.
To show you and to show you that you are built for more. There is something in there. And so I've always been that encourager. I've always been that kind spirit that I want people to win.
Yeah.
And that's what shows up in my relationship building. Just taking it to the next level. I guess this is why I'm connecting in that next level for my walk, because this is where God is calling me really to go full force with of being that encourager and being that light.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, that's fitting. I'm not surprised and shocked by that. I mean, you just exude so much light, and you're just vibrant. Any room you walk into, people are going to know you're there without you making any noise. And I just admire that about you. Some people, if they're not sure about themselves, may feel some type of way about that.
They will.
You know what I'm saying? They will. They have.
They have. I was about to say
they will. They have. But you know, I just love the light that you bring to any experience that you're a part of. And that's why I'm just, again, honored that you're on this podcast because
appreciate you.
we gonna light up the world together, honey.
I receive that. I receive that. Thank you.
Absolutely. I want to go with this one. So, what is one unpopular opinion that you have?
Ooh, one.
Yeah, I want to shake the room, shake the table.
Shaking the table. Work-life balance.
Okay.
Is that even such a thing?
No, ma'am. That's why I have the balance book.
Thank you.
Shameless plug.
Thank you. There is no such thing.
Yes.
As much as we keep using these, what do I call these words? These are the common words that the culture is using. The work-life balance, the work-life balance. And I don't believe in that. I really believe that we have to be adaptable.
Absolutely.
But you know why people don't like to be adaptable? Because it's change.
Yeah, nobody likes change. Change.
Right. And so now we create all these new
Yeah.
phrases to really, it's like the overlay for the underlay.
Yeah.
And we really just try to cover up what it really is. And it's just like, boo-boo, you just have to change.
It's just change. It's
just
inevitable. It's
You
inevitable.
have to change.
And if you embrace it, it won't be such a difficult thing for you.
It won't. And if it's hard, which some seasons are hard,
Absolutely.
this is why you have to tap into community.
100%.
We need people. God created us to be in relationships. And I think that that is just something that it's, again, I think it's an agenda.
Yeah.
It's to pull people apart. It's to have a work-life balance. We know that's not true. We know you need to change. We know you
Yeah.
need to lean in more into the community.
Yeah.
You know you need to come in closer to God and so he can help you through here. But it's everything that the world's trying to do opposite.
Absolutely.
Girl, I can go on a tangent, but that's my...
No, I'm with the tangent. Go as far as you need to go.
I'm just saying, spoiler alert, there is no such thing.
There is no such thing as work-life balance. I hope that you all heard that, and again and again and again.
Just adapt to the change.
Absolutely.
As my client always says, run to the pain.
Run. I love
He
that.
always tells me, he said, Jen,
Yeah.
just run to the
Yeah.
pain.
Get it over with. To be honest, like hurry up and feel the pain.
Feel fast.
Hurry up and feel the discomfort.
Yeah.
Because really, the story that you're telling yourself is actually a worse experience than what it's actually gonna be.
Because you got a whole movie in your head, don't you?
100%. Oh my goodness! Think about the stories we've told ourselves. And how torturous it was. And then when we got to the experience, it was like, that was it.
I had a whole production. I had characters,
That's it.
and that was it.
That's it.
That's what we do.
We are dramatic, especially women. You know, it was hard for me to accept for a while that I was an emotional being.
That you were, or
Crazy,
you was
right?
not.
I was. And interestingly
Say it ain't
enough,
so.
say it ain't so. I used to shy away from that. And it's because when people are constantly saying like, women are emotional, women, like it's used at like, it's weaponized, right? And it's used in a way where there's shame created around us being emotional, right? So I used to try not to embrace that because I felt like it made me weak. And now knowing like, honey, you gotta be real with yourself and you feel
1000. gotta
deeply
feel it.
too. You feel deeply, and it's important to recognize that because instead of ignoring those emotions, I can address those emotions, run toward the pain. I can address them quickly.
Yeah.
And I can navigate through them. So, you know, it's important to know I am emotional, but I am able to manage my emotions a lot better than a lot of women.
I agree. Same here.
Yeah.
I don't allow my emotions to overtake me.
Absolutely. They are not in control.
No, not at all.
Yeah.
Not at all.
And that's actually my unpopular opinion is that, you know, what you feel is real. A lot of people have this idea that like, because I feel it so strongly, then it must be true. But, you know, some of three of my favorite questions are, what do I think, what do I feel, and what do I know?
Yeah.
And I like those questions because, you know, what you think is actually creating that feeling. If you wake up and you want to have a good day, you think good thoughts, and you're going to feel amazing regardless of the circumstance. And people have this idea that, a lot of times I'm a little stoic because I speak in this way about the authority that you have to control your emotions, but it's really just a system of yourself.
It
what
really
you talk
is.
about in your work. It's a system of yourself. And if I know how to work that system, then it works for me.
Thank you.
And that's what people miss. Their systems aren't working because they're not being intentional about working them every day.
Not at all.
So if you're clearly asking, what I know I feel this emotion. A lot of people recognize and are aware of the emotion first. So they'll be like, I feel this emotion, then it must be real, and it's really start to question that emotion. What thoughts are creating this emotion?
What evidence do I have?
I'm feeling like I should quit. What's making me feel like I should quit? I'm comparing myself to other people, my past failures, the difficulty that I'm experiencing. Okay, cool. What do I know though? I know that my thoughts are telling me one thing, and those thoughts can be deceitful. But what do I know? What is the truth? And that is why I rely a lot on, embodying the mind of Christ.
Amen.
Going back to truth, because the thing about it is your thoughts will change from day to day, but the truth is the same yesterday, today, and forevermore. And if you can ground yourself in a word that does not change, you will be a lot more stable in those emotions.
I agree. I agree.
So my unpopular opinion is that what you feel is real, because it's not. And I even want to take it to the extreme of a lot of people, even when it comes to grieving, right? Grieving the loss of loved ones, they have this idea that I have to grieve this way because society tells me to grieve this way. But think about other societies. Everyone doesn't grieve the same way.
Different cultures.
Different
people.
cultures
Yeah.
grieve differently. So why can't you create a culture for yourself?
It's the box we put ourselves in.
100%. Because we've been conditioned. We've been trained in this way from the time that we were born. And I don't even have time for that. I don't even have time on the next 5 episodes about the systems of this American way. But we ain't got time, y'all. But we're going to get there because it's actually something I'm extremely passionate about. The food we eat, yes. the systems that have been put in place.
I hear part 3 coming from my system that I teach, and then you add on to that.
100%. We're going to get to that.
Okay.
Nevertheless.
All right, so let me ask you this.
Okay.
Beautiful, bold woman that you are. What is the ugliest and the most beautiful part of womanhood for you?
Oh, man. Oof.
You were ready.
I know, it's because it's so much. Like I could write a book on it because I'm living in this thing, right?
We're always living in it.
But I can say the ugliest part is the division that I see amongst women. Now I will say there's a lot of unity, so I never want to perpetuate this story that Black women don't support one another, love one another,
That's a
come
lie.
together, unify, and stampede, because I am seeing that every day. But what I hate is the stories that are still out there, that we are divided, and and this feeling of unworthiness that has been really drilled into women, Black women especially, by society, by, through relationships. All my life, to be honest, I've never seen a woman be loved, a Black woman, closely. Thank God for the distant experiences. And now I have close experiences, but when I was young coming up, I never saw a Black woman be valued and loved all the way through and, honored. And I'm grateful, honestly, for, my first relationships, because that changed the story for me, to be honest. They didn't end well because they were not my forever, but that they definitely changed the story for me. And because of those experiences, I was able to share those experiences with other women and get them to see the light for themselves. So definitely this idea of this low self-esteem, that's really, the system that creates low self-esteem for women. That's the ugliest part. And then the most beautiful part is just our essence. Like any real man knows, any real woman knows, like just the essence of our being. It's something that you cannot explain in words. You have to experience a
And you
woman.
can't replicate it as much as
No.
they try.
Listen, you cannot replicate this true essence of being a woman, our ability to create,
Oh, that's amazing.
our nurturing spirits, our ability to be transformed through the most difficult situations, like bringing it back even to that story of not being able to see Black women be loved all the way through. I've still seen them rise. I've still seen them thrive in all of that. So
We do, don't we?
Ain't nothing better than a Black woman. Ain't nothing better than a Black woman. I don't care. I don't care. It's the truth, okay?
Period.
Quote me, period.
And you heard it, folks, from Lanasia.
Yes, and I do not care. Fight me, okay? But they ain't gonna fight me. They gonna agree. They gonna agree. I mean,
And it's okay
the facts
to
are the facts.
agree. It's okay to
yes,
agree, right?
100%. What about you? What's the most ugly and most beautiful experience of womanhood for you?
I would say the most ugliest part is the conforming. The conforming that women do. I've done. I'm sure you've done many
Yeah,
times.
definitely.
We conform to things that don't even benefit who we are.
Love that.
And whether it's the cultural expectations, whether we're just crying out to want to be loved or, just wanting to be accepted.
Yeah.
But I don't like that for us. I think it's one of those expectations that takes us that the way that the world wants us to be, the pattern of the world. This is why I love Romans 12:2.
Yeah.
To not conform to this world, but to be transformed.
Absolutely.
And that's the beautiful thing, to piggyback off what you're saying, is when we transform.
Yes.
Boy, when we transform.
Like activated. Power Ranger, pink Power Ranger, pink
No,
Starburst.
how about like
all
the
the levels.
Transformers, girl? Like,
Iron Man.
I mean, but it's just something when a
Yeah.
woman comes out of it,
100%.
right? And then she has a new way of
Man.
her being, how she's glowing from the inward.
Yes.
And I love that part.
Love that for us.
I love that for us. So, yeah, that's my
Yeah.
truth, and I'm sticking to it.
Okay, I like that. So I'm gonna do a quick.
What you got?
I'm gonna do a quick game. Okay, I got a quick little, shoot some things out.
Okay.
I want to hear your opinion on some things. So I'm actually gonna ask you a few. I'm gonna shoot out a word, and when I share this word, I want you to tell me the first thing that comes to mind.
And then I got to do that for you, too, then, right?
Yeah, I guess you gotta have something for me too. So whatever ones come to your mind, I suppose.
All right, I'm cooking myself. Let's go.
Let's go. So entrepreneurship. You are an entrepreneur. Yeah. What's the first thing that comes to mind when you think entrepreneurship?
Dedication.
Ooh, I like that.
Dedication.
Gotta have it.
You got to have it.
It is, you experience valleys, you experience mountaintops. The valleys,
Oh,
the
my
mountaintops. But the mountaintops.
It's so sweet.
Yeah, but
It
the
is so
valleys
sweet.
is where you learn the most, where you
The
grow
valleys
the
is
most.
your character.
100%.
You need that. You can't have one without the other.
Absolutely. Sisterhood.
Love.
I love you too, girl.
you, baby.
I know.
Hey, love.
Wealth,
Legacy.
health,
Power.
fun.
Extraordinary.
Ooh, hold on. Hold on now. Tell me about some extraordinary fun. I gotta hear this.
I mean, it's experiences for me. It's the traveling and being. I think you even said it. You said vacation though.
No, I travel solo all the time.
But you do
know.
all the time.
Oh, Lord.
And it's a whole experience for you,
It
right?
is.
You take yourself to the most extraordinary spots.
I do.
Where did you go last?
Costa Rica. Well, last Colombia.
And were you at a soccer game?
I was.
Was that extraordinary?
It was not planned.
Thank you, baby.
Okay. Get me together then. You got some words, because you just. Oh, social media. The good, the bad, the ugly, the young and the restless.
I'm going to say, I don't even know why this word came in my head, but stall.
Stall.
I don't know why I just said stall.
Nah.
I don't even know
we
why.
not. Mm-mm.
I stall on social media. I love it. I hate it. I love it for the connection. I love it
Yes,
for
I
the
love it.
genuine and seeing people actually living out here.
Yeah, I love it for that.
But then I hate for what it's doing because it's contributing to a lot of the stuff that we are trying to break with this community.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
100%, especially, just the narratives one of the biggest ones is just this narrative, this divisiveness amongst men and women. And I'm like over it. I'm like, y'all know it's real love happening out here.
It really is.
And I
People
want to
stop
hear
living.
more of that.
Yeah.
And, and it's really just about where the focus goes, the energy flows. Because interestingly enough, when I started to be more intentional about not engaging with that content, I see less of it.
It's
So the story
intentionality.
changes when you choose to change the story.
It's intentionality.
100%. 100%. Any words?
Relationships.
Love.
Why'd you laugh?
I don't know. Love, bonding.
You're probably the most biggest romantic love bug there is.
Oh
Isn't it?
my gosh, I am a hopeful romance. I am a lover girl.
Oh, so you're not
even
thug.
just.
You over here
I'm
thugging
a
it out.
thug. I'm a thug for sure. You know what I'm saying? I'm still a thug. But no, I'm totally a lover girl. Like that's never been, and not even just romantically. Like I'm a lover girl in my friendships. Like I love
'cause you cook
physical
for me.
touch. I love quality time. If you come over my house, I'm cooking. You gonna
She
eat a
cooking.
meal. Yeah, you gonna
She
eat for
cooking.
sure. So yeah.
Okay, I love it. Beauty.
Nature,
I love that. Abundance.
God,
Faith.
faith, surrender,
Transformation.
restoration,
And of course, we have to make it full circle. Woman.
everything.
Ma'am.
Everything. So,
Essence.
listen, man.
I love
This
that.
has been so much fun.
I enjoy myself.
I can't wait to be on the couch with you again.
I know. And this is just the beginning.
Yes, I know. And I'm just in full surrender of, what God is going to do.
I'm full.
This season, every season that follows. I'm just grateful also for you women, for the men also that are, because I know y'all on here, okay? Y'all like, let me see how the black woman transform me. Let me see what y'all talking about. But black woman, I love you. I love you so much. I love you deep, deep, okay? And I want you to join us on these experiences every single month. This space is not created for us. It's created for you all. So be a part of this experience. I hope that something you heard today heals you, transforms you, makes you question, an idea that you had, challenges your perspective. And I hope you enjoyed yourself too. If you are interested, follow us. If you're interested, follow us on social media. Okay, they are. That's why I'm like, if you're interested, I know you're interested. Follow us on social media, blackwoman.transform. You can follow a Jen Heal at what's your tag?
Agenda, AJENN.DA.
Yes, you can follow me, Lanasia Angelina, on all platforms and learn more about the community too, because this does not just stop on the couch. We do more. We do coaching. We have live events. And, I want to make sure that I'm doing everything within my power to serve you in such a special way. So thank you for being a part of this experience. Thank you, my sister,
Thank you,
for
beautiful.
joining. And
course.
we're about to turn up, okay?
Amen.
Let's go. Let's
All
do
right.
this. Bye, y'all.
Bye-bye.